Every morning, millions of women reach for a cup of coffee, and that small ritual can be the difference between clear-headed focus and jittery mood swings, broken sleep, or worse, PMS. If your coffee feels like a lifesaver some days and a troublemaker others, this video will explain exactly why. The problem is simple. Caffeine gives a fast energy hit, but for many women it also interacts with stress hormones and reproductive hormones in ways that can cause anxiety, heavier periods, trouble sleeping, or unpredictable cycles. The good news is there's a smarter way to drink coffee that keeps the energy and reduces the side effects. First, I'll show a straightforward solution: how much to drink, when to drink it, and when to swap to gentler options, all explained in plain language with real-life examples. You'll hear why that mid-morning latte helps some women but makes others feel wired, how coffee can amplify PMS for one friend yet barely touch another, and what changes during pregnancy or perimenopause. Practical tips you can use today. Try your first cup after breakfast instead of on an empty stomach. Limit to about 2 regular cups, roughly 200 milligrams, if you're sensitive. Avoid caffeine after mid-afternoon, and pick decaf or green tea during the luteal phase if cramps and anxiety flare up. Track symptoms for a week and adjust. Stay with me. First, I'll give a simple cycle-aware coffee plan and a 7-day experiment so you can test what actually works for your body. Try it and tell us what changes. 1. Why women love coffee and how it feels. Caffeine works by blocking adenosine receptors in the brain, which reduces the sensation of tiredness and increases alertness. It also nudges up dopamine and adrenaline, so the body feels more awake and motivated. Many women notice an immediate lift in concentration, reaction time, and mood after a cup. At the same time, the same chemicals that sharpen focus can also raise heart rate and cortisol, the stress hormone, which is why the boost sometimes comes with a flutter or a racing mind. Relying on coffee is a common problem and a familiar comfort. For women juggling early meetings, school drop-offs, or irregular shift work, a warm cup becomes both a wake-up tool and a tiny ritual of control. One new parent might describe that first quiet sip as the only uninterrupted moment of the day. A graduate student might rely on espresso to power through a long study block. These stories show the solution coffee offers: fast, reliable energy and a sensory pause, aroma, heat in the hands, the taste that signals a transition into the day. But the solution isn't always purely positive. There are trade-offs when sleep becomes fragmented, or anxiety increases, or menstrual cramps feel worse on days with too much caffeine. The details explain why reactions vary so much. Genetics play a big role. The CYP1A2 enzyme affects how quickly caffeine is cleared from the body, so some women metabolize it rapidly and feel only a brief lift, while others process it slowly and experience longer-lasting effects and jitteriness. Hormones influence sensitivity too. Higher estrogen levels in certain hormonal medications can slow caffeine clearance, making the same cup feel stronger. Practical examples include a woman on hormonal birth control noticing that one latte leaves her wired longer than it used to, or someone with PMS feeling that coffee amplifies breast tenderness or anxiety in the week before their period. Caffeine's interaction with cortisol means that when life is already stressful, that afternoon coffee can sometimes push the body from energized into overwhelmed. Practical integration is straightforward and personal. Try shifting timing. Move your last caffeinated drink earlier in the day to protect sleep, and pair coffee with a small protein-rich snack to smooth out blood sugar dips that can amplify jitteriness. Swap formats. A shorter espresso shot gives a quick lift, while a larger milky drink slows absorption and softens the impact. Consider lower caffeine options like half-caf, decaf, or green tea on days when anxiety or menstrual symptoms spike. If you're on hormonal contraceptives, pregnant, or breastfeeding, check in with a clinician about how caffeine fits into your plan. Small, manageable changes, such as replacing one afternoon cup with water and a walk, can reveal whether coffee is helping or hindering your overall balance. Start a simple experiment to find what works for you. Over a few weeks, note when you drink coffee, how long the buzz lasts, how your sleep is that night, and whether mood or menstrual symptoms change. Try swapping one daily cup for decaf or a non-caffeinated ritual and compare how you feel. Pay attention, adjust, and then choose. Keep the ritual and timing that energizes you without disrupting sleep or peace of mind, or dial back and preserve calm. The goal is not to cut out pleasure, but to tune coffee into an ally rather than a source of stress. 2. How caffeine affects cortisol and female hormones. 3. Coffee's impact on sleep, anxiety, and adrenal health. 4. When coffee helps and when it harms, caffeine causes a measurable spike in stress hormones. A single cup of coffee can raise cortisol and adrenaline, which helps you feel alert and focused right away. That acute rise is the problem for many women who rely on multiple cups across the day. Repeated surges can nudge the whole hypothalamic pituitary adrenal (HPA) axis into a different rhythm and interact with other sex hormones. For example, people taking combined oral contraceptives often clear caffeine more slowly because estrogen affects the liver enzyme CYP1A2, so that morning latte can linger and produce stronger effects than expected. Cutting back, changing the timing, or switching to lower caffeine options often fixes the immediate symptoms. If anxiety, poor sleep, or irregular cycles appear after increasing coffee intake, a short trial of reduced caffeine, 2 weeks, usually shows whether caffeine is the trigger. Substituting 1 espresso for decaf or green tea in the afternoon and saving caffeinated coffee for the first half of the day restores balance for many women without giving up the ritual. On the hormone side, caffeine mainly acts through the HPA axis and liver metabolism. By blocking adenosine receptors, it boosts neuronal firing, prompting the adrenal glands to release cortisol and catecholamines. Those hormones can suppress progesterone production indirectly and alter menstrual symptoms in sensitive people. Habitual drinkers may get less of a cortisol spike than newcomers, but that does not eliminate downstream effects. Altered cortisol timing can shift sleep architecture and the body's inflammatory signals, which in turn influence menstrual regularity and symptom severity. Also remember that contraceptives and some medications change caffeine clearance, so identical doses affect people differently. Coffee's impact on sleep and anxiety is straightforward in everyday terms. Caffeine increases the time it takes to fall asleep and reduces deep restorative sleep for many people. Short naps and late meetings become harder after an afternoon cup. Anxiety disorders or panic-prone individuals are especially vulnerable. Even a single cup can trigger palpitations, jitteriness, and racing thoughts. The idea of adrenal fatigue is not supported by medical evidence. However, chronic stress combined with frequent caffeine-driven cortisol spikes can create HPA axis dysregulation, meaning you feel wired at night and wiped out in the morning despite drinking more coffee. Practical integration is simple and effective. Start by tracking what you drink and when. Note mood, sleep quality, and menstrual symptoms for 2 weeks. Try these swaps. Replace any drink after 2 p.m. with decaf or herbal tea. Cut 1 cup a day for a week. Choose a smaller size or a lower caffeine roast. If you're on hormonal birth control, pregnant, trying to conceive, or taking certain medications, ask your clinician about caffeine metabolism because you may need to reduce intake further. Use alternatives like a protein-rich breakfast, a brisk 10-minute walk, or 20 to 30-minute nap for energy instead of a late coffee. Take action now. Pick one change and test it for 2 weeks. Notice whether your sleep deepens, anxiety eases, or menstrual symptoms shift. If improvements follow, you've found a simple, low-cost way to protect both energy and hormonal balance. If problems persist, seek medical advice. A tailored plan from a clinician can sort medication interactions, hormone imbalances, and sleep disorders so you can keep enjoying coffee without paying for it with your health. 5. Healthier ways to consume coffee. Many popular coffee shop drinks can deliver as much sugar and calories as a dessert, and that matters because what you add to coffee often determines whether it fuels you or leaves you crashing. A grand-flavored latte with syrups and whipped cream is a common morning ritual. It tastes indulgent but can spike blood sugar, increase inflammation, and disrupt steady energy, concerns that often show up as mood swings, trouble sleeping, or heavier period symptoms for some women. Unfiltered brewing methods also concentrate a compound called cafestol, which may raise LDL cholesterol in people who drink them regularly. Short-term jitters, long-term cholesterol changes, and hidden sugars are the problems many women don't notice right away. Replace heavy add-ins and habits with small, targeted swaps that preserve pleasure while protecting hormones and energy. Choose brewing and serving styles that match your goals. Rinse your grinder and switch to paper filter drip or pour over if cholesterol is a concern. Try cold brew or a darker roast to reduce acidity if your stomach protests. Prefer plain espresso or Americano instead of syrup-laden lattes to cut sugar without losing the ritual. Balance caffeine with food. A protein or fiber-rich breakfast paired with coffee smooths blood sugar and reduces the likelihood of an energy crash. For sensitive evenings, decaffeinated or half-caf options keep ritual without the alertness that can interfere with sleep. Details matter, and they're easy to implement. Paper filters trap oily compounds that are present in French press and boiled-style coffees, which is useful if your lipid profile is a concern. Cold brew is often perceived as gentler on the stomach because slower extraction can lower perceived acidity, though strength still depends on bean-to-water ratio. If you're using milk, choose unsweetened plant milks or dairy in measure portions. A splash of unsweetened oat milk and a pinch of cinnamon adds creaminess and sweetness without syrup. Sweeteners drive quick blood sugar spikes, so swap them for vanilla bean, a touch of maple, or simply the aroma of freshly ground beans. When headaches, heavier cramps, or anxiety flare up around your cycle, try cutting caffeine for a week to see if symptoms ease. Some women notice improvements quickly. Small practical tools help. A kitchen scale, a travel mug with a smaller opening, or pre-portioned pods keep portions consistent. Turn these ideas into daily habits with simple rules you can test. Start your day by drinking a glass of water before reaching for coffee to help hydration and digestion. If cholesterol is a worry, choose drip coffee with a paper filter most mornings and save unfiltered methods for occasional treats. Swap one sugary chain drink a week for an Americano with a cinnamon sprinkle. Prepare a batch of cold brew to have a low-acid option on hand, or buy a decaf blend for afternoon sipping. Keep a short log for 2 weeks. Note sleep quality, mood, menstrual symptoms, and energy dips, and you'll see patterns emerge. If you're pregnant, breastfeeding, or managing a medical condition, check with your clinician before making big changes. Pick one swap today and try it for 2 weeks. Reduce added sugar, use a paper filter, or sip decaf after lunch. Observe how your energy, sleep, and cycle respond. Small changes add up, and they let you keep the ritual of coffee while treating your body with the attention it deserves. 6. Alternatives for stable energy without hormone disruption. Many women report that the quick lift from a morning cup can turn into jittery afternoons and restless nights, and caffeine also increases stress hormones in the short term, which can worsen energy swings. This pattern often hides a simpler problem: unstable blood sugar, dehydration, poor sleep, and unmanaged stress, none of which need stimulants to get better. Clear, steady energy comes from habits that support metabolism, nervous system balance, and sleep, not from repeated jolts of caffeine. Start with real food-based fixes. Build meals around a palm-sized portion of protein, eggs, yogurt, tofu, or lean meat, a source of healthy fat, nuts, avocado, olive oil, and fiber-rich carbs, oats, whole grains, vegetables. For example, Greek yogurt with berries and chia seeds for breakfast, a wrap with grilled chicken, hummus, and spinach for lunch, or a bowl of steel-cut oats topped with chopped nuts and a sliced apple. Snacks that stabilize blood sugar are simple: an apple with almond butter, carrot sticks with hummus, or a handful of mixed nuts and a piece of fruit. Keep energy steady without a caffeine spike. Move and hydrate strategically. A quick 5 to 10 minute walk or a set of bodyweight squats gets oxygen and glucose to your brain and muscles, producing a natural alertness boost. Drinking a glass of water first thing and sipping throughout the day prevents the mild dehydration that commonly feels like fatigue. Short power naps, about 20 minutes, or a focused 10-minute breathing break can reset alertness without interfering with nighttime sleep. Light exposure in the morning, stepping outside for a few minutes, helps set your internal clock and promotes daytime wakefulness too. Mindful stress management supports hormones. Practices as brief as stretching, a short guided breath, or a 2-minute grounding exercise lower stress signals that otherwise sap energy. Sleep hygiene matters. A consistent bedtime routine, dimming screens before bed, and keeping the bedroom cool and dark all protect sleep quality, which in turn keeps daytime energy stable. If low iron, B12, or vitamin D might be a factor, A quick blood test and targeted supplementation under medical guidance often makes a big difference. Always check before starting pills. Make small, testable changes and track results. Try replacing one coffee with a warm glass of water and a protein-rich breakfast for 2 weeks, and note energy levels in a simple morning and afternoon log. Pack grab-and-go snacks like hard-boiled eggs or single-serve nut packs. Plan 2 5-10-minute movement breaks into your workday, and pick one evening habit to improve sleep. If fatigue persists despite these steps, consult your healthcare provider for testing and personalized guidance. Start with one swap today and see how steady energy, rather than quick spikes, shows up in your day. If you've ever reached for that mid-afternoon latte and then wondered why you can't sleep or your mood swings the next day, you're not alone. Coffee can be a boost and a disruptor at the same time. The problem, for some women, too much caffeine or the wrong timing can raise stress hormones, disturb sleep, and make period or menopause symptoms worse. The solution? Smarter coffee habits, not giving it up cold turkey. Here's the short, clear summary. Coffee can increase energy and focus, but it can also nudge the body's stress and sex hormones. Amount, timing, individual sensitivity, and what you add to your cup, sugar, syrups, all matter. Women who are pregnant, have PCOS, anxiety, thyroid issues, or trouble sleeping should be extra mindful. Simple, everyday ways to make it work for you. Keep to one good quality cup in the morning with a protein-rich breakfast. Swap an afternoon cup for herbal tea or decaf. Stay hydrated and cut back on sugary coffee drinks. Try a 2-week experiment. Track cups, sleep, mood, and periods. Many women notice clearer sleep and fewer jitters after just a week or 2. Real-life example, a friend who had constant afternoon crashes switched to one morning espresso and water later in the day. Her energy stabilized and her nighttime anxiety eased. Try this practical plan today. Limit to 1-2 cups before noon. Pair coffee with food. Replace late cups with decaf or green tea, and keep a simple symptom diary. If you have health concerns, check in with your doctor. If this resonated, tell me what you drink in the comments. Your experience could help someone else. Hit subscribe so you don't miss our next deep dive. The best coffee choices for hormone health, how to read coffee labels, and quick low-caffeine recipes you'll actually enjoy. See you in the next video. Bring your questions and your favorite mug.